We are now in the studio with the incoming NSTA President, Eric Pyle. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. Very happy to be here.
Well, after such a challenging year, what goals do you have for the NSTA in the coming year?
Well, one of the most important goals for NSTA for the coming year is to really help science educators reconnect with each other from the classroom level on up. NSTA has been mindful of the needs of teachers of science for lesson plans and professional learning during the pandemic, but I also see NSTA maintaining that support and applying the lessons we've learned from the pandemic to connect educators in ways and levels we've never had to face before. My presidential theme, which is coordinate, collaborate, communicate, is focused on maintaining and extending the innovations over the past year towards strengthening science learning for all. This will happen directly through NSTA membership and programs, but also through the collaborations we are developing with other societies and groups with goals similar to NSTA's.
What excites you the most about the direction that science education is moving?
Well, one huge takeaway from the last year is that many of the issues that were below the surface in education, particularly issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, have really been laid bare for everyone to see. And while it might be a little uncomfortable to face some of these issues head on, the excitement really comes from the rare chance we have at this moment to make the necessary changes for the better, so that all students have the chance to learn science effectively, and that their teachers have the tools and resources to do that on a consistent basis. With the recent passage of the American Rescue Act and the coming elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds, the necessary resources will be there to support these changes. So it's exciting to see that the science education community can not only grow and thrive, but also has the chance to share the innovations and adjustments that educators have devised and will devise over the coming time here.
What words of advice would you have for members that have gone through such a challenging year as things are slowly getting better with more and more people getting vaccinated?
So it would be nostalgic to think that the emergence from the pandemic would mean that things could just go back to the before times, that alone would be what the post-pandemic teaching environment would look like. But we've all become so separated and disconnected from one another, having to teach remotely, that much of the spontaneity that comes with the day-to-day interactions with students and colleagues has really been absent. As we move forward into the summer and coming school year, there's a really great promise that we can reconnect and recover the spirit and dedication that we all have to student learning, but to also up our game. We can share our stories, our innovations, our workarounds. These are the means by which we can reconnect to one another and offer a huge amount of hope in the advancement of science teaching and learning, in and out of school. Now is the time to embrace these changes, and while change may cause some level of angst, it's also much better than the alternative through which we have all just lived.
Eric, thanks so much for joining us today.